What up? I am not in my studio. I'm actually traveling right now. I'm at my parents' house, but I just edited a sweet video and I want to do a video editing breakdown on how I achieved the look, some of the creative decisions I made and things like that. So here's the video.
Need to sharpen a knife today. What method should I go with? Marker method. Pretty quick and easy. I like the knife angle setter. Super precise. This guy. Also, you can really dial in the angle of your knife. I think we have our answer. What is it supposed to be?
All right, so the first thing, obviously, I had to plan some of my shots. And for the first one, super easy. I just had him walk up to the machine and look at each option and kind of ponder what he wanted to do for the day. The only change I made on here was that in the beginning, I added keyframes to the scale to add a little bit of camera motion. I then had him look at each shoulder back and forth to kind of go between each character. I then did close-up shots of him looking at each shoulder and kind of nodding in agreement as if he was listening to someone talk. And to have each character stand out, I had one wear a white shirt and one wear a red shirt. To successfully do this effect, you're gonna have to key out each subject. So what I did is I put them in front of a green screen to make it easier. The green screen is totally optional, but I thought it was gonna be easier for the AI in Final Cut Pro to detect him versus the background with a green background as opposed to something that was, closer to what he was wearing. So I took each clip and I added it to the timeline. I then clicked on this cool button here and went down to Add Magnetic Mask. And from here, you just select the subject that you want to mask out, and then you hit Analyze, and Final Cut Pro is going to analyze this and then remove him from the background just like this. To fine tune this a little bit more, I went to the feather and I changed that so that way you don't see some of the green outline of his body to make it look a little bit more realistic. I then did a little bit of color grading to match the colors more closely to the shot of his shoulder. To make the entrance of the characters a little bit more impactful, I added a smoke effect, which I got from some pack somewhere online, along with a smoke whoosh sound effect that I got from Artlist. And then finally, I added keyframes to the opacity, so he starts at 0, and then he comes in, and I changed the position and scale to make him really tiny so then he popped up.
Marker method.
Finally, I added his voiceover for the beginning piece where he's trying to decide what to use. And to save time, I just filmed it and I just stripped the audio.
Need him.
I added it to the beginning of the video and then I went to the audio effects and then added the small room effect to make it sound a little bit more like it's in his head. For the shot of him throwing the marker and hitting the other guy in the face, unfortunately, it didn't capture the marker in the original video. So I had to take a product image of the marker, add it to the video. Then I had to add keyframes to the position, the rotation, and the scale as it flew across the screen to make it so that you can actually see what was going on. It then jumps into the regular knife sharpening, which is very straightforward. I added a couple keyframes to add some motion to the camera, but that was about it. Now let's go over some of the creative decisions I made with this video. First off is the music. I added a more whimsical, mischievous song because I thought that fit the vibe. Once he made the decision on which method to use for sharpening, I thought it was more celebratory, which is why I added a more upbeat, kind of more commercial song. I also timed the clapping 1, 2, 3, 4 piece to when the marker hits his face, so it kind of matches and it nice flows, almost as if it was a riser going into the next shot.
I think we have our answer.
The last clip was just a blooper from the voiceover that we did, and I thought it kind of showed character, showed that we were having fun, and I liked that the green screen was in the background. It felt less produced, and you can kind of tell we were just making videos in the office. Looking back, there are a couple of things that I think that I could have done differently that would have made this even better. For starters, I could have had the guy on the shoulder track a little bit better so it was a little bit more realistic. I could have color graded even more to match the colors, but that involves a lot more editing, and I didn't want to spend all day on this one video. In the close-up shots, I would have loved to actually have him turning like this between the two because I have stagnant shots of this and then it just cuts directly to this. But in having the head movement, maybe the video would have connected a little bit more and had a better flow to it. Other than that, I'm super happy with how this turned out. It was very easy to film, very easy to edit, and yeah, it was something that we did that was different than what we always do. So it was super cool to work on, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I hope that maybe you learned something here or inspired you to make videos for yourself. Now make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and if anything didn't make sense, leave a comment and I will try and explain it a little bit better for you next time. All right, take it easy.